Okay, so I wanted to do a video today because I'm still receiving some emails and posts on my channel that I had put when I was after I had been on the Able Danger show, and it was a really bizarre interview, and then he got arrested, and so a lot of people are sending messages to me and different things like, do I know what's going on? Was I a part of that? Did I get him in trouble? Was I a part of it? Okay, so I was not a part of any of this. I am a whistleblower like him and Timothy Holmseth. I have the same story. Apparently, who brought these charges against him was this lady named Kim Pacazio, and she was the woman who apparently her daughter went missing, Haley Cummings, and she just sounds awful. So apparently she has completely made up fraudulent charges, and that he wasn't even in those areas that she's saying that these things happened. So I do believe that these are fraudulent charges. Okay, so I have had the same thing happen to me where when I first moved back from Arizona, I was targeted by the police in Minnesota, and I was pulled over 20 times and until I finally had to move out of state. The same thing happened to Timothy Holmseth, okay? And this was both in Minnesota. These are the kind of things I could have talked about on his channel if he would have let me speak, and that's the thing that I still don't understand. I still don't understand why he somehow cut me off, like he was afraid of me talking. I think Field was already aware that he was in danger, in trouble, and that he didn't want to get himself in more trouble by having me on talking about more. Because what I exposed was in Arizona was like the biggest human trafficking ring, and it was going on right through a military base. And a lot of politicians were involved. John McCain was involved, and it's all coming out now. There's this Marshall Islands scandal that I talked about, in a couple of videos ago, where they were bringing women over from Marshall Islands, and they were having babies in Arizona, and they were selling the babies into sex trafficking. Okay, Arizona. What I tapped into in that base in Arizona was apparently like the center of it all. Okay, Arizona was like the center of it all. So, and it involved major politicians. Okay, and these are the people who are after Trump. Okay, and so I personally think, in my opinion, I think Field was just afraid of having me on his show because he was already in danger he already had charges filing against him. So I personally believe that's what happened. Um, it doesn't make any sense because I'm a whistleblower just like him and Timothy. I've been trying to expose human trafficking just like they have been. I accidentally uncovered, I'll leave the links to my story because a lot of people still don't understand who I am. And so I'll try to make that more clear on my videos. But I was I was in the National Guard for 15 years, and I worked six years at the Arizona National Guard, where I was actually in full-time positions, different full-time positions, admin and supply, and I worked on the border mission when we were building the fence for a while there, and a lot of different things. And one of the areas that I worked, I accidentally uncovered a extremely bizarre situation, which led to an investigation into the finance office by the Auditor General, and they uncovered a $2.7 million embezzlement scandal. Okay, and so now it's coming out slowly but surely that was involving all that $2.7 million that went missing, all went to human trafficking. Okay, so this was right through a military base. This was in Phoenix, Arizona, and 52nd and McDowell. Okay, so this is why it pertains to human trafficking. And So this is why everybody told me, hey, this is the show you need to go on, Field McConnell. This is what he's trying to expose, like you are. Okay, I'm not a bad person. I was not involved in anything to do with Field McConnell. I think he already knew he was in danger. He'd already been apparently served these ridiculous fraudulent papers. And, you have to understand these people are extremely intimidating and they're extremely frightening. They're extremely evil, the type of people that are involved in human trafficking and pedophilia. And so he was probably scared, is my guess, to have me on. And, maybe it would create more problems for him because so I think Kirk Pendergast did a really good job explaining common law, and this is what it needs to come back to, because our court system is so corrupt right now. They did the same thing to me in Minnesota. Okay, I got pulled over. It didn't matter. I would be like, just going with the flow of traffic, but they would just target me. And these are not the good police. These are the bad police that were part of the human trafficking. A lot of them are Masons. A lot of them are Masons. They're part of secret societies. And so I had these, all of a sudden, they would just make up a charge. They would say, oh, she didn't put your turn signal on, going from lane to lane or something. And all of a sudden I'd have lights behind me. Okay. And, it starts with the police filing wrong charges, and then you go to try to fight the charges in a corrupt court. And, it's a no-win situation because the courts are corrupt, and that's what Kirk is trying to convey, in my opinion, is that, we need to go back to common law court system. The court system is extremely corrupt, and it's part of the bail system, BAA. Okay, the bar system is part of the bail system, BAAL, the bail god. Okay, it's demonically oppressed right now, the court system. It's completely part of the bad agenda. Like they'll, every single situation I was in Minnesota, they assigned a corrupt judge that was trying to do whatever they could to convict me, and I had to fight it and pray, and I finally got. I finally got, I got several of them dismissed, but not all of them. So I got, and I had to I had to go to court like 30 times to fight these things. So, it's not just one time. You have to go back, first you have to go in and you have to say, plead, no, not guilty. And then they'll set another date, and then they'll set another date, and they'll set another. They take all your time, all your money, all you got to pay for parking to get to the court. This is, it's not as easy as it's a disaster when they start coming after you. It's like all your, my whole life was like, for a while there, just fighting these tickets because I got pulled over so many times. Okay, so I am not involved in any way with what came after Field McConnell. I am also another victim like him and Timothy, and I'll include all the links I was on of that I told my story. So in 2011, I accidentally uncovered just a huge scandal that was going on through the finance office and the emergency relief fund. And so I'll include the links so people understand who I am. I'm not at all associated with Kim Kapas, this lady who was after him. I'm another whistleblower that accidentally uncovered a human trafficking operation. See, the thing that is so different about my story is that I was just an innocent soldier working at a military base. I was just admin and supply working at a military base. And I accidentally uncovered that there was something very strange going on. Okay, so this is why I'm such a threat, is that they know how this would look to the public, that they were doing a human trafficking operation through a military base. Okay, this is what the Democrats are all afraid of, and all these pedophiles that are after Trump. they are extremely afraid of my story because they know how bad that makes them look. They were running a human trafficking operation right through a military base, and John McCain was involved, and a lot of the major politicians in Arizona were involved. Okay, so I'm just an extreme threat. You know, people think that I'm involved. No, it's not the case at all. I'm just an extreme threat to these people. You know, Phil McConnell, he uncovered some things apparently about 9/11. We're all whistleblowers, you know. Timothy Homseth uncovered that things. It started in Florida, and then it followed him to Minnesota, the human trafficking. Okay, but my understanding is that what I uncovered was like the center of it all, the hub of it all. Okay, like the Arizona National Guard and Arizona is, my understanding is like the hub of the global trafficking. Okay, the hub. I uncovered the hub. Okay, so I'm lucky I'm even alive. Okay, if you listen to some of my videos, I explain. I'll include the videos here, but there was 3 soldiers murdered at our base prior to me that tried uncovering and tried saying different things, and they're dead now. Okay, so you know, I'm really tired of these people that are sending me nasty emails as if I'm somehow involved. I was somehow involved in this Field McConnell's arrest. I wasn't involved at all. I was just as confused as the rest of everybody else. Okay, I don't know what happened here, but my guess is that he was probably intimidated or scared to have me on because he was already served, apparently, these papers. So he might have been intimidated, and apparently apparently years ago he was involved in the FBI in Phoenix, okay, and different things like that. Phoenix is the center of human trafficking, and that's the center of it all. It's not just domestic, global. It's the global center of human trafficking. Okay, it's going on right through Arizona. There's all kinds of tunnels all over Arizona, going everywhere, high speed. Okay, we're talking like major human trafficking going on through Arizona, and everybody and Cindy McCain's involved. All these senators are involved. Okay, so I think that that he was just afraid or threatened to have me on. I don't think he purposely meant to be rude. I think he was just kind of like, I don't think I can handle this or something. Okay, but I did try texting him and I tried emailing him my story, because a lot of people were like, well, send him your stuff and he'll try to help you, you know. I did. I texted him and I emailed him and he didn't respond. So, you know, something is going on that none of us quite understand. I don't understand it myself, okay? Um, I do believe that Kirk Pendergast is trying to do a good job and he's trying to expose these fraudulent charges. You know, how would you like to be, you know, all of a sudden serve some kind of fraudulent charge and then you're supposed to be expected to know what to do? Well, none of us, you know, and you don't know the law. And also the whole courts have uh, just gotten so corrupted. It's so beyond anything you could possibly imagine. I mean, I couldn't believe I mean, because I'm from Minnesota, and I couldn't believe what I had to encounter in the courts in Minnesota when trying to fight these minor tickets. I mean, they would just find anything and everything to pull me over for, you know. Um, they wouldn't even have a reason. They wouldn't even have any probable cause, and I would be pulled over. And you know, and they would be like, oh, we need to. I mean, it was just insane. I mean, you know, I would just be going to meet a friend for dinner, and I'd be pulled over, you know, and they'd make me late, you know, and I just started like freaking out on them, and you know, I mean, it just was insane. I got so infuriated with the police in Minnesota, that were doing this, and I don't, you know, I mean, not all the police are involved, but there was a good majority that were involved in harassing me, I'll tell you that, and it was extremely traumatizing, and and I'm still traumatized to this day by the police because of this. So apparently there's been mass funding that has now been available to the police to fight the human trafficking. And that is what needed to happen. And I think Trump finally somehow got that approved to get more funding involved in fighting this with the police, because they this is a huge issue. This is a huge issue. I mean, apparently, I was just on the news. It was like almost $1 million in funding to help fight human trafficking. I was just watching it here in Nevada, where I'm at right now. That it was on the news, and so apparently, they've been allocating almost $1 million in funds for the police to help fight the human trafficking. So this is apparently a really big issue. This is really all that it's about. Everybody that's after Trump, okay? They are, tons of them are involved in this human trafficking, man. It's like, and they're all secret pedophiles, and they're, nobody would ever think that so many people are Satanists, but really that's what it is. Really that's what it is that they've sold their souls completely, and they're completely on the other side, and they're against us, that are just trying to do the right thing. And this is what is up against Trump. They have completely sold their souls, and for fame, fortune, for these positions of power, and they are going after all of us that are trying to expose this human trafficking. But what I was saying in one of my videos, a couple of videos ago, is I was saying to somebody that wrote into me that this goes way back. This goes way back in the biblical days, where they were sacrificing children. It's talked about a little bit in the book of Ruth, but they were apparently way back in those days, in the book of Ruth's days, is that they were still sacrificing children on altars to these gods, these false gods, and then Ruth ended up marrying a Christian who was a Jesus follower, and she ended up getting away from it finally. But she was part of grooming these kids that were, apparently I saw this movie about it, and about her story, and she was apparently part of grooming these kids to be a part of these sacrifices. And it goes back to they're sacrificing the kids to Moloch, okay? And it's still going on to this day, like centuries later. And apparently Moloch promises fame and fortune, to these people who sacrifice these children to him. They're sacrificing the soul of that children to Satan. Okay? I mean, Moloch is Satan. Okay? It's just there's right and wrong, there's good and evil. There's Lucifer and Jesus. Okay? It's really simple when it comes down to it. There's Lucifer. There's not, they call themselves different gods. They call themselves Moloch. They call themselves Allah, okay? But it's all Lucifer. It's all Lucifer. It's all Satanism, okay? It's all Satanism. There's just one God. There's Jesus and there's Satan. There's nothing in between. It's all these other things in between are false religions. And this child trafficking goes way back to biblical days, where Satan, got people to, he got them bribed to, he would promise them fame and fortune to sacrifice their children. They would sacrifice their children's soul to Satan. Okay, so this is what it's about. And it apparently, people have fallen for this for centuries now. Centuries. And we didn't notice it was going on. There's tunnels all over our country underneath. And we didn't know this was going on until now. This is what it's all about. It's all about these people that have got illegally gotten fame and a fortune from sacrificing children, innocent children. Okay, I am not part of the bad side. I don't want people to email me and say nasty things to me anymore because I am a part of the good side. I'm a part of. I was trying to, and what makes my story even worse and even more traumatizing is that I wasn't even a journalist like Timothy, where he was, just getting curious and tried. And he was a journalist, and he was trying to uncover this. I was an innocent soldier, and I accidentally uncovered what was going on at a military base. This could have happened to your son, your daughter, anybody. That's why my story is so um, that is like so taboo for anybody to talk about because they're so embarrassed. They're so embarrassed because this could have happened. This was happening on a military base, where they were highly involved in human trafficking, and they found hundreds of body parts of human trafficking victims at a military base at the Arizona National Guard. Okay, so I am a victim like Field McConnell and Timothy Holmseth, and I myself have been persecuted for years. So I don't need any more people emailing me and saying nasty things, about that interview. I think, I just think that Field was not not knowing how to handle my situation because he was already being targeted. Okay, but that didn't give him any right to be rude to me. Okay, he was rude to me for no reason, and I don't appreciate that because I didn't deserve it. We're all in the same battle together. And so I don't understand why they thought my situation was any different than theirs and to treat me bad in some way. I uncovered a $2.7 million missing at a military base, and all of the $2.7 million went to human trafficking instead of to soldiers and their families. It was stolen from an emergency relief fund. That is my story, and I'll include the links of all of the radio shows that I've done. But I wanted to make this video because I've had so many people write into me saying, either good things or bad things, or thank you for helping us expose Field. I don't know what's going on with Field. I don't know. It sounds to me like these are false charges, okay? But it also was weird the way he treated me, okay? Because I'm just another whistleblower like him and Timothy. So why would he treat me bad? So my only thing that I can say is that I think that possibly he was threatened or he was scared to have me on in some way because he was already being targeted. So I'm just going to put that out there. And I'll put the links to all the videos that I have been on explaining my story. Okay, because I believe that Arizona is the very center, not just domestically, but globally, of human trafficking. Okay, and what I uncovered was like the root of it all. I mean, you can't believe what I've been through, and I've just touched on it a little bit. And God willing, I'll do more videos of what I've been through. But I uncovered like the root and the center of it all. Okay, at that base, and with John McCain, and he was the root of it all, and the center of all the human trafficking, and that's why he was executed, and he was executed for crimes against humanity, and many other things, and Cindy McCain is now being exposed, and I'm going to include a link under this about her, and it's all involving Arizona, big time, big time. Okay, so, but, apparently Florida, Broward County, apparently that was a huge area too, and it's just all over. It's all over. It's a satanic thing. They gain power from the bloodshed and the sacrifice. You see a lot of these children end up sacrificed to Satan. Their souls end up sacrificed. Okay, so some of them are used for sex for a while. Some of them are used for their organs are harvested, And then in the end, a lot of times they are just sacrificed to Satan. It's a satanic ritual. It's a satanic thing, what we're dealing with. It's not anything you can think that anything normal is going on here. It's a totally satanic thing, and if you don't understand Satanism, you don't understand it. Okay, so these children, they disappear. Okay, a lot of times they might be used for sex for a while. They might be used for organ harvesting. They might be used just at a satanic ritual, and they drink the blood. These Satanists drink the blood of these innocent children too. That's a big deal too. And then on top of it, um, on top of it, then some of them are taken, and if they think they can be like, they can use mind control and get them to do certain things for them, like kill people or different things. They do that with some of them. Some of them end up complete mind control victims of these pedophiles and everything too. So that's the other thing going on too. It's just way more sinister and terrible than anybody could ever imagine, and that is what Trump is up against. He's up against these people who have completely 100% sold their soul to Satan. It's like, they're completely like they're done. They've been involved in such high level crimes against humanity that you can't possibly imagine. Okay, so this is what we're dealing with. So I want to do this video tonight because I think it's important, because I'm still getting some messages from that radio show, and I don't want people to think that I'm somehow involved. I'm a victim, as like Field is, and like Trump is, and like we all are, of these human traffickers and these Satanists and these pedophiles. Okay, so this is our real enemy in this country, are the people that have decided to sell their soul, and they're involved in human trafficking and satanic rituals and pedophilia, and because they have decided that that was the quick way out, that was the easy way to fame and fortune. Okay, that's really what it is, because they don't have the patience, they don't have the understanding of Christ, and they don't have any of the virtues of Christ. They've completely just decided to take the easy way out and sell their soul and get rich, fame, and fortune. Okay, so how do a lot of these people, how do you think they're doing now? Like Jim Carrey, he sold his soul. He can barely get it in a movie contract now. He's just like a nobody now. Okay, it doesn't pay to sell your soul. Jim Carrey sold his soul. A lot of Hollywood people sell their soul, and it gives them quick fame and fortune. Okay, a lot of people, I'm not going to name any more names, but it doesn't pay to sell your soul. It's like a quick fix to something, and it's just because that a lot of the churches haven't been teaching the right thing, and so the churches are to blame. But there's not a quick fix to fame and fortune or whatever. You gotta have patience and kindness and the virtues of Christ. This is what we're dealing with, is that a lot of people that have taken like the quick fix, the easy road out, where they've taken this bad road, and it's just so way out of control that it's crazy. So this is a really important video that I feel like I need to share tonight, and I'm going to include a bunch of links underneath this so people understand my story a little bit better. But I was not a part of anything to do with Field McConnell, and if he's on the same battle that I'm on, well, I wish him well. And it sounds like Kirk Pendergrass is trying to do the right thing, and he's got a hold of common law, because that's what it needs to come back to, is common law. These courts are totally insane. In Minnesota, I got pulled over. One of the incidences was I had a cop behind me illegally, as usual, for no reason. And all I did was put my phone up for 1 second, and I took a picture of him behind me. And he sees me do that, and he pulled me over gave me a ticket for texting while driving. And I had video and everything of all this, and I said, would you like to look at my phone? I wasn't texting. I was taking a picture of you. because I've had so many people pull me over. Okay, and then he wouldn't dismiss the ticket, so then I had to go to court. And I went to court like 5 times before it was dismissed. They tried to, in the Minnesota courts there, they tried to say, oh, well, there's a gray area for texting and driving, for taking a picture, because that's called distracted driving. And I said I wasn't distracted and I wasn't texting either. So, what seems to be the problem here, and why am I still in court for like the 5th time? Finally, after like the 6th time that they dragged me into these stupid courts in Minnesota, it finally got dismissed. Okay, but this was like 6 times. I had to go. You have to spend your time and your money and your effort, and maybe you got to get out of work. You got to get and they drag you into these stupid court cases that are a bunch of bogus. And I finally got that one dismissed. But I shouldn't have never happened to begin with. Okay? This is what we need to stop these issues from happening to begin with. Okay? So this is my video for today.